Very good morning, children. I hope everybody is doing fine. So today we are going to continue the topic, which is secrets of swimming. Okay, secrets of swimming. Yesterday we were learning that there are some animals which are in the sea water, which usually live in the surface areas and all. If they have to go to the deeper levels, what they will do is they will collapse their lungs. How they will collapse their lungs? They will collapse their lungs in such a way that they will take the air inside. For example, if you take the whale and all the other animals, they have a special hole-like structure which is called as the blowhole. Right? Through this, they will take the oxygen or the air into the lungs. So once the air comes into the lungs, what happens here is this will be filled with the oxygen. Now what they will do is they will take this oxygen into the muscles. So once they take this oxygen to the muscles, they will leave out the water, the air which is over there, it will leave out. So the lungs will be completely collapsed until there was air in this. So it was giving a chance for the organism to float on the water, on the surface of the water. But once by the time the density is very low here, so that's why it keeps on floating on the water. But once what happens here is this particular lungs are collapsed, the air is gone out, it becomes heavier than water. So ultimately it will come down. So when it is coming down also, when it comes down, it need not use any of its body parts to swim. Because if it swims, if it makes a movement, what happens is the oxygen which is in its body will be used up. Isn't it? The oxygen which is in its body will be completely used up. So to spare that, to avoid that, what it will do is it will completely just come down into the deeper layers. So, and when it comes in deeper layers and once its job is finished, then it will use now it has to go up, right? That means it has to withstand the pressure, it has to go against the pressure, and then it has to climb up, it has to go up. So now it needs the what? Oxygen. That is the energy. So the energy comes from the oxygen. So then it will utilize the energy, right? It will also utilize the oxygen here to have a strenuous climbing up. So with a great difficulty, it comes up into the surface of the waters. So that is how these particular organisms have adapted themselves to go into the deeper levels, because you have to imagine one thing here, you have to understand one thing here, that is they are using the lungs. Lungs are the respiratory organs here, not the gills. We are not talking about the organism which has the gills. If they have gills and all, they can go to any part of the place and all, they can have they can come up. So that's not a big deal at all. But here the respiratory organ, the respiratory system is the lungs here. That's why they need a lot of time to go inside, and they have to go ahead with this kind of situation. So this is one of the secrets of the swimming. Okay, so by this we come to the end of the one particular process. Okay, one secret. Now we'll see the second one. So each and every animal has to control their buoyancy. So what is buoyancy here? This is buoyancy. What is buoyancy here? Buoyancy is nothing but the ability to float on the water. So organisms which are very heavier and all, they should have the ability to float on the water, and also they should have the ability to go to the deeper levels of the water, and also they should be able to come back to the same surfaces. So like this, there are some organisms, that is what we have seen in the beginning side. Seals will they will collapse their lungs and then go into the water, and again they come back outside by using the oxygen which they usually store in their blood. Okay, children. So now we are going to see the other one. Some of the fishes will also use the swim bladders. Some of the fishes will also use the swim bladders. Here the swim bladders. The swim bladders here, like they are a different part of the body. Now if it is a fish and all, so now just assume that this is a swim bladder. It is a swim bladder. Let me write here. It is a swim bladder. So until the organism has a swim bladder, so they move up to the water column. That means they come to the surface areas of the water by secreting a gas into it. They will secrete a kind of gas into it, and because of this gas in the swim bladder, what happens is they will float on the water. They will float on the water. So how they are floating on the water here? They are floating on the water with the help of the gas which is secreted by the organisms into the swim bladder. Okay, and when this gas is secreted, this particular swim bladder is inflated. That is, it becomes a bigger in size, so it will enable the organism to stay on the surface areas of the water. Okay, so and whenever they want to go inside the water, they will reabsorb this gas into the blood. They will reabsorb this gas into the blood. What happens then? Immediately the lungs will get collapsed here, or the swim bladder will get it will get to normal position, and then it will enable the organism to go inside the water. So again, if you want to come outside, then what happens? This will be filled again with the gas which is already in the blood, and then this will be inflated automatically. This organism will come out. So this is the process by which few of the organisms in the water, they will go ahead with this kind of process by inflating the swim bladder with the help of the gas. So this is one of the secret that some of the organisms will maintain. Okay. Here, this swim bladder, even if it goes with the same gas inside the water also, this will not collapse. The reason because is the external pressure which is here and the pressure in the swim bladder, that is the whatever the gas is, the pressure and all, that is equal to each other. That is the reason why even they go into the deeper levels also, what happens is this swim bladder will not collapse at all. Okay, sometimes. And now the next thing is that sometimes what happens is when the external pressure decreases, even this bladder will inflate in such a way that it will come out of the mouth also. This bladder will come out of the mouth also. That is how sometimes it will happen. That is because of this inflation of the extreme gas into the swim bladders. Even when the external pressure decreases, even this bladder increases in such a way that it comes out of the mouth also. So here, one more thing here is that the marine animals which are living in the water should be able to regulate the salinity, that is the salt content which is in the water. So they should be, because it is a salt water, and the salt content, it should be completely regulated in the body of the organism. So that's why they use different organisms like kidneys, like gills, and also they undergo a process which is called as the osmosis. All these three and also some special organs will regulate the salt water which is in the body. Osmosis moving from the lower concentration to higher concentration. So that is how whatever the extra salt is there in the body, whatever the excess salt which is present in the body will be removed by the kidneys and also gills through a process called as the and also through the skin membranes, through the process which is called as the osmosis. And second thing is that here the marine animals which are living in the water, some of the animals which are living in the surface areas, which are mammals and all, they have the different structures to take the oxygen inside. But not every organism will have the same kind of thing, right? No, they have the gills. So if they have gills and all, they cannot take the atmospheric oxygen. That means they should have the capacity to take the oxygen which is already present in the water. We all know that there is water, there is oxygen in the water, and that oxygen will be taken by the organisms like fishes and all. Know, right? What they will do is they will take the water inside, and when it comes to the gills and all, what are the oxygen which is there in the water will be taken by the gills, and the carbon dioxide which is already present in the gills will be given out to the water, and that water will flow outside. So that is how they have the adaptations. They have adapted the gills so that what they can do now, they can easily take the dissolved oxygen. They can take the dissolved oxygen. Now, for example, if you take the anemones, sea anemones and some other worms, like no, they also have to they stick to one particular place. They stick to one particular place, and all no, they also should be able to take the oxygen, and they take the oxygen with the help of their skin. The skin membranes will help them to take the oxygen. And there are so many fishes which are mobile. They are not stagnant to one particular place. They are not connected to one particular place. They keep on moving from the one place to the other place, and now even they have to take the oxygen which is already present in the water, which is already dissolved in the water. So that is how they use their gills, and also they use their lungs to take the required amount of oxygen. So whatever the oxygen which is taken by all these organisms, what's happening here is they are releasing the carbon dioxide. What is released out here is carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is taken by the plants. This carbon dioxide is taken by the plants. Plants will take this carbon dioxide. Plants will take this carbon dioxide, and what they will do is they will prepare the food material, and that will be again used by some of the organisms which are living in the water. That is how the oxygen and the carbon dioxide levels will be they'll be balanced. Now coming to the temperature also. Temperature also plays a very, very important and major role here, because if it is a very, very cool temperature, there are so many marine organisms which are living in this, in the sea water, in the marine water. So now if it is an organism, what the skin will have a very thick substance which is called as the blubber. It will have a very thick substance which is called as the blubber, and this blubber is actually utilized. It will act as a insulator. It will not allow the cold to go inside, so it will keep the body warm. It will not allow the heat to come outside. So what is the heat which is in the body of the organism will be saved by this blubber. It's like a sweater. It's like a sweater which you wear in the winter season. So this kind of blubber, what happens is here is they will save the organism from the extreme cold temperatures. So that is how some of them are saved like this. And the others they have antifreeze substances. They have some antifreeze substances. These antifreeze substances also will be what they will do is they will not allow the organism or the contents of the organism to be frozen. So that is how they also save the organism. Okay, and now this kind of antifreeze substances are usually present in the blood, and even if they enter into the very, very cold places and all, their blood will not freeze, because they have the antifreeze substances which are they are present in the blood and all. So these are the different secrets of swimming and all, and there are a lot many to go, and definitely we'll go ahead with all these things. So today we have learned about the collapsing of the lungs, and also we have seen the swim bladder and how the gas is goes into the organism and how it comes out, and how it even if it goes into the deeper levels of the water also, the pressure which is inside the bladder and also the pressure which is outside the bladder will be extremely equal to each other. So that's why nothing will happen. So whenever the external pressure, if it decreases, what happens, the bladder also, the swim bladder will increase in size, and also it will come out of the mouth. Okay, so that is what we have already learned. And then we have also seen that there are there are different organisms which if they have living in the salt water and all, they have to regulate the salt water, and this water is regulated by the gills, kidneys, and also process called as the osmosis. There is a dissolved oxygen in the water, so animals should adapt their bodies in such a way that they can easily take the oxygen which is already dissolved in state. So there are sea anemones which are like no, they are like no connected to one particular, they are stick to one particular substratum. They will not move from there. So, and there are some other worms also which will be attached to some substratums. So what they will do is they will take the dissolved oxygen from the water, and there are some mobile fishes which will keep on moving here and there. They have the lungs and also gills, and they will have their own adaptations to take the oxygen which is from the dissolved water. And then the water which is over here, that should be the like the water, the organisms which are living here, they are taking the oxygen and giving out the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide will be ultimately taken by the plants and they will give out the oxygen. That is how the carbon dioxide and water are completely balanced, right? And then we have seen that there are some organisms which live in the extreme cold temperatures and extreme cold conditions. If you go and if you keep on going into deeper levels of sea, the water will become extremely cold. So they have to withstand the temperature. And there are some places like the way the temperature is extremely cold, and also they have to even maintain the temperature over there. So to maintain that temperature, what they will do is their body will have a blubber. Their body will have a blubber here, and this will act as a insulator. Sorry, it will act as a insulator. It will not allow the heat to come outside. And in some organisms, there is a anti-freezing substance in their body that also will not allow the blood to get clot even if they go to the extreme cold conditions. And also that is how these organisms will these are all the different kind of adaptations. Whatever we are doing, whatever we are learning in these secrets of swimming, these are the different kinds of adaptations which these animals are showing so that they can survive in this particular temperature. Okay, children. So that's all for today, and see you tomorrow. Okay, children. Until then, have a nice day. God bless you.